Let me then deal with cadre deployment. And again, I'm now compelled for, I think, the 15th time to indicate to people what cadre deployment is and what cadre deployment is not. Cadre deployment is putting people into the permanent civil service where they will have line function authority over departments and entities and state-owned enterprises for no other reason, based not on their qualification or ability to do the job, but on loyalty to a party. That is cadre deployment. It is internationally defined. Staff in a minister's office are not members of the public service. They hold no line responsibility or command in the department. They work to support the minister. The DA has been very clear from the beginning, when we took on the cadre deployment issue, that we don't regard staff in political office bearers' offices as cadre deployment. Indeed, mayors, speakers, MECs, premiers of where the DA's occupied positions have put people in their political offices where they feel they are best able to provide support for the political executive office bearer. When the political office bearer leaves office, those people leave with the political office bearer. Their employment comes to an end. They do not remain as permanent members of the civil service. So I think that important distinction must be made clear, because putting people into a ministerial office is not cadre deployment. That is appointment of people to serve you. And the DA has never raised issues with anybody who's been deployed into a political office bearer's office, because we know that their only line of responsibility is to the political office bearer, and in fact they have no line authority within the department. So the minister's staff and in the Department of Agriculture and the Ministry of Agriculture have no line authority over DGs, DDGs, chairpersons, senior managers within that department. They have no line authority whatsoever over them. Their authority begins and ends in the minister's office. So we must be clear when we throw terms like cadre deployment around, that we understand what cadre deployment is and what cadre deployment is not. Now, I feel very sorry for the EFF. I feel very sorry for them. And in fact, I'm going to make a very broad and generous offer today, because they really are a terrible opposition. And as a former chief whip in Parliament, I'm going to sit down with some of them and explain to them how Parliament works. First of all, if you feel a minister has not been honest in a parliamentary reply, the Ethics Committee is not where you lodge your complaint. And I would encourage him to go and read the Executive Ethics Act, which shows that such a complaint should go to the Public Protector's Office as a custodian of that. The Ethics Committee has got no mandate to determine the veracity or otherwise of members of the executive answers to Parliament. So I'm very happy to help and school the EFF in that particular regard. But some of them are frankly beyond help, and I think have been victims of a failed education system that has left large people unable to read for meaning. Because if they had taken the time to read properly the answers to the parliamentary questions that they themselves submitted in Parliament, they would have seen nobody has been appointed or been paid a salary in any minister's office that does not meet the requirements. It was there in black and white, the answers to their questions. Nobody is being paid, no one has been appointed, nobody has been taken on that does not meet the requirements. So they really do need to learn to perhaps read the answers to their own questions. But I don't blame them, because frankly they need any distraction they can find. Plunging to 6% in the polls, loss of support in the last election, exodus of senior leadership out of the organization, hurtling towards the Congress, which will no doubt be the coronation of the leader for life of the EFF. I would also want to find every effort I could to distract attention away from it. And I can tell you something, that if I had produced an election result like Mr. Malema produced, I've no doubt that many of you's first question to me today would have been, why are you still there? And I hope that Mr. Malema is going to answer those questions.